Recently, the price of Pi 5s have increased to an unreasonably large amount. Like, I'm talking about more than double the price that they used to be. The price of Pi 5s, for example, the 16 gigs in particular, are almost $350, and that's not counting the compute modules. It is ungodly and obscene, to say the least. But I guess the Raspberry Pi Foundation solution to all this is a 3 gigabyte Raspberry Pi 4, and they've redone the entire circuit board so that they can fit two 1.5 gig NANDs for 3 gigabytes of RAM. This to me is insane. Like, we're it's comical, man. Like, I cannot believe that this is the solution. And at first they were like, this is temporary, and then it became, this is temporary again. Now it's, well, we're gonna redo the entire PCB of our former lineup so that we can come out with this thing. Well, in the spirit of Raspberry Pi 4s becoming more and more popular these days, well, I decided that I was going to get into another Raspberry Pi 4 project, a 4 project in particular. Now, SunFounder was kind enough to send in their Raspad 3, Raspberry Pad, Raspad 3. Now, the Raspad 3 is actually really dope. I've been using it for about a week now, and I actually really like the thing. And when I mean I really like the thing, I mean like I really, really like the thing. I've been using it as a POS system, as well as being able to track inventory in a much more efficient way. Now that I'm, working with carbon computers, a lot more of, my time is specifically within inventory builds and things of that sort. So as a desktop tool, when it comes to actual getting things done, productivity in particular, it's actually not that bad. So I thought I'd make a video about it because, well, it is compatible with the Raspberry Pi 5, although it does not supply a consistent 5 volt 5 amp. It doesn't supply a 5 volt 5 amp at all. It's made for a Raspberry Pi 4. So we grabbed an old Pi 4 that has not seen the light of day in a very long time and threw it in a Raspad 3 because it comes out actually pretty decent. Now, there's a couple things that you need to know. This isn't one of those, tablets where you have to configure an entire thing, although they do have a Raspad launcher, and it's got a bunch of really cool features. Like, for example, there's an accelerometer in this thing, which is pretty cool. Like, I like the fact that there's an accelerometer, and if you're running their Raspad launcher, it will flip every time you turn it, one way or another. The accelerometer shim that they, you just literally stick it on the GPIO pins and call it a day. Setup process is really easy, and I want to show you guys why I really like this thing. Now, as a portable Pi, it's actually pretty cool. Like, I think I really like the size and form factor. There's a couple of Pi tablets that have been out, especially Pi tablets built around the Raspberry Pi 5, and I specifically like CyberDex. This has been the first Pi tablet where, well, the keyboard works exactly as promised. The touchscreen is actually pretty decent, and, well, you don't need to configure any drivers. Everything's connected through HDMI. I'm gonna show you what the inside of this thing looks like because they did a good job, genuinely a good job, and you would barely think, there's a Pi 4 in here? You're running Linux for simple tasks, so don't expect the world, but you could flash Kali, you could flash Ubuntu, you could flash anything you want on this guy, and I decided to test out MidwestGadgets' new GPS module and stick it on the inside of this thing and try to run Kismet, and it worked really well, which is exceptional to say the least, because it's kind of like a laptop replacement that runs Linux. So the possibilities here kind of endless. Now, mind you, MidwestGadgets did make a GPS module. Hamspice from MidwestGadgets made a GPS module that is supposed to act as an ATGM 336H replacement, and it's got the same pinout as the ATGM, and it's a lot more efficient. We're talking about millimeter accuracy, and I really like this GPS module. The ATGM has been my favorite for a while, but this is absolutely amazing. Now, the Wi-Fi on the Raspberry Pi 4 is notoriously bad, so I stuck an alpha tri-band dongle on it, and it works perfectly fine. Matter of fact, it's better than I had anticipated. Like, I did not think that I was gonna have this much fun with Pi 4 projects like I did back when the Pi 4 was kind of relevant. Like when the CM4 was the thing, it was my favorite thing to go to. And this has made me have a new appreciation for Pi 4s. Now, does that justify that Pi 5s are now almost damn near impossible to get? No, absolutely not. As a matter of fact, all my Pi projects don't taste the same like they used to. It soiled the pie, for, you know, lack of better words, but at the very least, there is some pretty decent use for it. So as a tablet computer, it's actually not that bad. If we want to just type, it'll push everything up to the top and we can type straight from the screen, which sometimes this can get annoying with different tablets with Linux, but for this one, it's not that bad at all. It's as intuitive as you would hope in a Raspberry Pi tablet. The one thing is sometimes it can get a little bit problematic if we want to switch. We actually have to click something outside of the actual terminal or whatever we're typing on, but you can disable this on-screen keyboard in the settings, like, because, you know, this is just Raspberry Pi OS, and from there we can use an external keyboard and an external mouse if you so wish. As far as the display, it is a crisp display. It's a nice tablet. I like the way it's kind of shimmed in that, you know, angle. I personally like that. You can switch it where it's kind of, you know, the other way around if you don't like that kind of angled feel to it. Although when you sit it on a flat plane, it's curved to you, and I like that. The buttons on the side are as follows: power, brightness, and volume. You've got status indicator lights here on the side for the battery pack that's inside. On a single charge, it lasts around 2.5 hours, like straight, which is pretty good. Although I have been keeping it stationary as a war driver, it's not ideal. Let me tell you that right now. As a matter of fact, it's got the same battery capacity as the Hack 5 Pineapple pager, which is insane to me. On the side, we've got an Ethernet jack, 3 USB ports. Granted, they are USB 3. It's taken the Raspberry Pi 400 approach, which, I mean, it's decent. We could literally just add an adapter. There is no USB-C, which is problematic, but, you know, adapters exist, and you can stick a Raspberry Pi adapter and call it a day. Full-size HDMI as opposed to micro HDMI, a headphone jack, and a 12-volt barrel jack. There was kind of an issue at first when I plugged it in. I could not tell, like, if it was charging, but that's because I was not looking on the other side. The accelerometer on the inside is for the accelerometer shim that we had mentioned earlier. Here's the thing. It does not support Debian 12. It does not. I was trying to wrap my head around it, and that's kind of the thing with SunFounder, is once they make it, it sometimes doesn't get supported. Although there are possibilities. You can run any custom firmware, any Linux OS that you'd like, and that is decent. It doesn't use a DSI cable. It uses regular micro HDMI to full-size HDMI. And that's what I like about this, because I literally just need it as a desktop inventory machine. And it does just that really well. In the box, you get this Raspad screwdriver that switches between a Phillips and a flathead. And I don't know why, I really like this screwdriver. Out of all the things in the box, this is gotta be my favorite. To open it up, all we gotta do is open up these 5 screws, unscrew these screws, and we are good to go. On the left side right here, we have a lip that we can just run our nail through, and it should just pop off. Which, oh my God, look at the inside of this guy. So see that red LED? That's for the accelerometer shim, and well, I replaced the ATG M336H with the MidwestGadgets GPS and then just put in the accelerometer shim because I want it to stay stationary. Now on the inside, there's a lot going on. For example, we've got an active cooler right here at the top, which is pretty decent. This is the driver board that's kind of, you know, keeping the touchscreen going. Nothing is kind of, it's driverless. Like you can put whatever you want in here. Because I am trying to reload the launcher firmware for it, I put the accelerometer shim that's right there in the corner. But there is enough room in here for you to put whatever you want on the inside of this guy. You could add a 4G module, you could add an SDR. There is so much that you can do in here. This little black strip at the top, this is our battery pack. And I believe that's only 3 18650s. So it's, you know, no surprise that it's only lasting 2.5 hours. But whatever they got in here is doing its job for, you know, the hardware that's in here. Over here on the side, we've got our 3 buttons as well as a status indicator here on the side. And we have our Pi 4. You can put a Pi 5, but if you put a Pi 5, you're gonna keep getting, you know, power warnings and things of that sort. So to keep it simple, I just kept a Raspberry Pi 4, and there's a lot that you can do with a Raspberry Pi 4. As you can see, everything is just kindly connected directly to this driver board. This driver board switches everything from one USB, so technically we still have more USB ports here on the inside. You can add a GPS dongle to the inside of this guy. It would take no space at all. You have speakers. There is so much that you can do in here, and that's why I really like this thing. There is a warning though that I followed at the beginning, but in my rush to record, completely forgot. When you're opening this guy, and you have to do it very carefully, you have to remove the micro SD card slot, or it will literally just come off with the case. Now, granted, thankfully, none of the pads came off, so this is not a trace repair. All we gotta do is solder on those contacts straight to the board, which thankfully I can do in literally like 10 minutes. So all in all, this is a really good tablet. Like, I really enjoyed this tablet. Now, I have to make sure that my inventory tablet that I keep in the lab has an SD card, or else it will not boot up. Make sure you take out the SD card before opening and after opening this guy up, and just make sure you do not do what I did, because oh my god. You can find educational guides and really cool Raspberry Pi ESP32 and Arduino projects over at SunFounder.com. They've got guides for everything. If you just want to get into maker projects and you have no idea where to start, and you didn't even buy anything from them, they have walkthroughs for everything, including all their products. We'll be going over the new Pironman Pro Max that just came out for like AI vision for the Raspberry Pi 5, as well as going over their new Raspberry Pi 5 UPS hat, which gives you 5 volt 5 amps continuously with a 2000 milliamp hour battery that you can replace for a bigger battery very, very soon. So if you're unsubscribed, subscribe, because we go over different stuff all the time, my guy, in our long form videos and our short form videos. We also have so many people linked down below that are part of the Blackwire militia and just amazing members of the community and people that I just truly admire down below. Love these guys. Love you guys. I love your faces. You guys are awesome. We'll see you next time.